Welcome to the Energy for Life podcast, helping busy women reclaim their energy, innate power, and self-worth. Here is your host, Corona Brady.
Welcome to episode 54 of the Energy for Life podcast show, and I am your host, Corona Brady. Gosh, it's been a while since my last episode. It's actually been a couple of months. And honestly, a lot has happened for me in my life since June, I think, was my last episode. I've been home to Ireland for close to a month for my brother's wedding. I had the most amazing trip home, probably one of my best trips back yet. And I even managed a sneaky trip to Paris with a dear friend. And I'm now back in Sydney. I've moved home again 3 times in the last 18 months. So there's been lots of change, you could say. And I keep reminding myself of this quote lately: change is the only constant in life. And I've certainly become comfortable with the uncomfortable in the last few months because I've had to. So today on the episode, I want to talk to you about which wolf you're feeding right now in your life. Which wolf are you giving your most energy to every day? And what do I mean by this? So please let me explain. There's always a fight of 2 wolves within you, the black and the white wolf. And by the way, this episode idea actually has come from a coaching session that I had with one of my clients today. And off the back of that, I just decided to jump on and record this episode for you. So there's always a fight of 2 wolves within you, the black and the white wolf. And one wolf, which is the black wolf, this is basically anger. It's jealousy, it's sorrow, it's regret, it's shame, it's greed, it's self-pity. It's victimization, it's guilt, it's laziness, it's worry, it's resentment, it's inferiority, it's lies, it's false pride, it's superiority, it's the ego. You see where I'm going with this. The black wolf is the part of you that will choose to just numb out, whether that's with food, alcohol, technology, sex, and so on. It's that part of you that won't do what is nourishing for your body, your mind, and your spirit. While the other wolf, which is the white wolf, this is joy, it's peace, it's love, it's connection, kindness, courage, bravery, hope, calmness, serenity, humility, it's kindness, it's, I think I said kindness twice, it's authenticity, it's compassion, it's generosity, it's truth, it's trust, it's confidence, it's faith. It's the part of you that knows you're worthy of true nourishment, and then you know what you need to give yourself and you honor that. You give to yourself what you need. And this fight is happening within you every single day, whether you realize it or not. And the wolf that you choose to feed is actually the wolf that will win. And you actually can't get rid of the black wolf. She's always going to be there, just like you can't get rid of the white. She too will always be there, but you will only see a small part of her if you're actually choosing to feed the black wolf most of the time. You also can't deny or disown the dark, black or shadow wolf. You must accept this part of yourself. You actually have to listen to her, but you can choose whether you're going to go down the black wolf rabbit hole. And I see so many of my coaching clients often falling into the trap of really trying so hard to get rid of this black wolf, which is that negative, darker shadow aspect of yourself. And how this can play out is you may try to eat 100% healthy all the time, or you beat yourself up for relaxing, even if it's just for like 5 minutes, or you beat yourself up for slipping into an old habit or a pattern, or you beat yourself up for having a negative thought, and so you try very quickly to get rid of those negative thoughts in your head. But that's denying, it's neglecting, and then it's not accepting, it's not loving that dark shadow aspect of yourself that actually lives and resides within. And the truth is that you can't live in the light or pure bliss all the time. That's not real life and it's not real living. What we can do, however, is we can really learn to accept and love that black wolf, and to then act in the face of challenge, or in those, in the face of those negative feelings or just hard times. We can choose in those moments to simply feel the fear and not be frozen by the fear and just do it anyway. We can choose to simply see our worries and our doubts as just worries and doubts. And we can choose to not give any more energy or any more power to them. And we can choose to just move forward anyway from that space. And that's how you choose not to feed the black wolf. And instead, the white one gets fed. And I want to give you some examples of how you can choose the white wolf being fed rather than the black. So the white wolf will get fed when you feel like not getting up early and meditating, say, and doing your morning ritual. But you get up anyway, you push through the resistance and you do it anyway. The white wolf will get fed when you feel like numbing out with half a bottle of wine and binging on Netflix. And instead, in that moment, you choose something nourishing, like a bath and maybe a herbal tea and an early night in bed. The white wolf gets fed when you're not feeling confident about maybe putting yourself forward for that new role you'd so love, but you apply anyway. The white wolf gets fed when you're angry, when you're frustrated, when you're upset with your partner or your husband, but you show him love anyway. The white wolf gets fed when you notice a negative thought and pattern and you choose not to wallow in it. You choose in that moment to rise. When you do that, you change your state. And then as a result of your changing your state, you change how you feel. Now, just imagine for a moment that you're being controlled by the black wolf and you're choosing to just feed this wolf every minute of every day. What do you think is going to happen in your life? You're going to become stuck, right? You'll become so paralyzed by fear, worry, and scarcity. You won't be moving forward. And when you tell yourself you haven't achieved anything, how do you think you're going to feel? You're going to feel like crap, right? And instead of moving forward, you begin to stagnate. And what happens when you stagnate? You kind of feel like you're a hamster on a wheel, spinning the same circles. You begin to move backward instead of forward. And the black wolf just becomes stronger and stronger, day by day, week by week, month by month, and year by year. So how do you feed the white wolf? Will you start by telling yourself that you are worthy? Instead of being plagued by self-doubt and self-judgment, you actually begin to believe in yourself. You start taking small, actionable, daily steps towards your goals, because it's those small daily steps over time that actually create stunning results. And if you don't know how to do this, or if you don't know where to begin with this, you choose to seek out the right support by working with a coach, and you know that you're worthy of that. And by the way, it's going to be so much easier for you to feed this dark black wolf because this is the path more often travelled. It's often the path of victimization. It's where we wallow in our own self-pity about life not being fair or everything being too difficult, too hard. Because at the end of the day, it's often easier for us to complain, to be negative, to moan, to be in victim, to give up, to self-sabotage, to procrastinate, to ignore, to suppress, to be in fear and worry and anxiety. That's the known, and there often is little to no effort required to actually be in that space. And that's why it's often the easier option, because you get the reward of instant gratification without taking very much action. Now, what do I mean by instant gratification? This is basically a habit where you skip the short-term pain and instead you briefly indulge in those kind of fleeting pleasures that ultimately in the end it's going to result in long-term pain. So in other words, in that moment you will find all kinds of reasons and silly excuses not to do something because of the pain it creates in that moment, even though you know that this action is actually what you need to do. It's actually going to help you reach your long-term goals and objectives. So instead, you maybe have that glass or two of wine, or you spend those 2 to 3 hours binging on Netflix. Instant gratification, it's often going to manifest as procrastination. It'll often show up in your life as self-sabotage, where you just get caught up in those temptations, in those distractions of life at the cost of your long-term goals. And the reality is that you actually need to give up something to get something back. That's just life. And whether that involves your time, your energy, or your money, it makes no difference. It's actually that act of giving that really counts. And often this giving might feel uncomfortable and even really painful. However, it's that temporary pain you experience during those fleeting moments that is eventually going to turn into the long-term pleasure that you're seeking when you finally achieve your goal. Now, the white wolf is very different, okay? It can be harder to feed. Why is that? Because it's unfamiliar. It's the space of the unknown, and the unknown can be challenging. It can be uncomfortable. It can even be tiring. It can be time consuming. It can be energy consuming to do things that are in the long term going to grow you as a human being, like learning or simply just sticking to a new behavior or a new habit. These things take resources, time, energy, money, effort, momentum, and even courage. It takes courage and bravery initially. And often we may not see immediate results from them either. But at the end of the day, the wolf you choose to feed, whether it's the black or the white one, it's going to define who you are. And we all know deep down we may need to feed the white wolf more in our life, even if it's more challenging to do that. At the same time, you can't just choose to just feed the white wolf and choose to live in the light 100% of the time, because as I mentioned, that's not really living. And when you do that, then you deny and hide the black wolf. You have to acknowledge the black wolf. You have to accept the darkness and shadow that also resides within you. But you have to accept and love this part of yourself the same way you love the white wolf. And so I want to leave you with these reflective questions today. Which wolf are you feeding? Do you feed more to the white or the black wolf? Which wolf might you be starving right now in your life? And as a result, what is that creating within you? And is there any part of you that might be afraid of your black wolf? So I hope that this episode today was insightful, and if anything, that it has awakened something within you. And just before I finish up here today, I just want to let you know that we have our Reclaim Your Radiance Women's Detox Retreat. It's coming up on the 19th of September for 3 nights, 4 days, from the 19th to the 22nd at the beautiful Dantosa Estate in the really healing and supportive Blue Mountains. This is going to be such a deep dive retreat, and we're going to be really focusing 100% on you. We'll be diving really deep over these 4 days, where you're going to walk away with some really profound shifts in every single area of your life, because the retreat itself is really working inwards, and when you change the inside, everything changes on the outside. So just think of this 4-day retreat as really an upgrade of your physical, mental, emotional and spiritual self. And if you've just been feeling the intense energy of this year and you're feeling burnt out and worn out and maybe overwhelmed and just anxious and unable to switch off and you've been putting yourself at the bottom of the list for too long, you've got very little to no self-care, and you're just running on your nerves, or you're running on your adrenaline, and you're always on, and maybe even you swing from incredible highs to lows, or you're just numbing with either too much food or alcohol or Netflix or social media, or you're having problems with your sleep, and it feels on many levels that you're existing, you're kind of on this treadmill. No matter where you are right now on your journey, ladies, this retreat will have you walking away with an experience of deep peace, and I promise you that. It's going to be 4 days of deep detoxification of physical, mental, emotional and spiritual, really cleaning out and clearing out all of those built up toxins. And the retreat itself is going to be incredibly healing, and we have a beautiful group of women booked in who are going to be like-minded women just like yourself, that are wanting to create some profound change in their life. And we'll be sitting in circle doing some really powerful healing circle work together over these 4 days, and I promise you, you will walk away from this event feeling deeply connected, more aware, more awake, and just having found this renewed sense of connection within yourself. And the breakthroughs that you begin to have on the retreat, you will experience those long after the retreat. You can expect many, many miracles in your life. And Yogi Bhajan, who brought the teachings of Kundalini Yoga to the West, he said this Aquarian age that we're now in, our focus has to be to be. It's not about doing. Our focus is be to be rather than do. And, you know, the doing is more yang, it's more masculine. And so this is exactly what we're going to be focusing on during these 4 days together. I have Rory Kinsella who's going to be joining me. He's a teacher of Vedic meditation. He's going to be running a really powerful workshop. And then he's also going to be co-facilitating an all-night gong healing journey, which is really going to support deep healing on every level. I also have the beautiful Lena from Mindful Cooking, and she really has a deep passion for healthy and nutritious food, and she's going to be really creating beautiful meals for us every day with so much love. And then I will be there facilitating this space and just holding sacred space for you. All of your needs will be taken care of. All you have to do is commit and show up. And I promise you, what you invest in this retreat, you will get back 10 times. So please head on over to my website, coronabrady.com, and take a look at this beautiful offering. We still have a few spaces available, and I would love to have you here. And in terms of my retreats and events, they're going to be changing in 2020. Right now I have nothing planned for running here in Australia next year in 2020. So this could be your last opportunity to join me here on retreat, to join me here for a live event in Australia for some time. So jump on over to the website, take a look, reach out to me. We can book a call, have a chat, and I can just answer any questions or any concerns that you might have. I truly believe that you cannot put a price on personal transformation. You just can't, because when you really grow that relationship with yourself, when you create that reconnection from within, when you begin to love yourself, everything changes in your life, ladies. Your relationship with everything and everyone changes. And the most important relationship starts with the relationship with yourself. And when you can learn to value your own worth, this is what's going to build a strong foundation for everything else in your life. Your supportive relationships, your abundance, your success, your career, your business, everything.